Welcome our reigning Miss Solomon Islands plus our Miss Solomon Island Pageant 2024 contestants. Please join me to welcome contestant number 1, the beautiful Miss Tourism.
Judges, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely Oka, and very good morning to you all. As a lawyer myself, it is my pleasure to share my take on how having more women in law can contribute to safe, secure, and sustainable communities. Today, I will focus on only a few main points within the context of Solomon Islands. To begin with, what do we mean by safe, secure, and sustainable communities? When we hear safe, we think of communities that are free from violence and from crime. When we hear secure, we think of financial security, where money is not a problem. The Institute of Sustainable Communities defines a sustainable community as one that is economically, environmentally, and socially healthy and resilient. Common features of a sustainable community include healthy and safe surroundings in which everyone's needs are met, a strong economy with employment opportunities, and an environment that is appreciated. So how does having more women in law contribute to such communities? Firstly, women in law serve as role models, especially for our young people, our young women, who aspire to follow in the same career path. They are mentors to these young women in the workplace, in our schools, and also in other social settings. Having women in law who are in mentorship and leadership roles contributes to expanding our human resources in the legal sector to better serve our communities. Having more women in law creates a more balanced representation in the legal profession, which is important for creating and nurturing diverse, inclusive, and equitable legal systems which responds to everyone's needs. In addition, it is mostly women in law who are more attuned to and who advocate for gender-specific issues such as domestic violence, sexual harassment, and gender inequality. This is because we ourselves have experienced these issues, or we have come across it through our work, or we have witnessed it in our communities. It is these women who push for targeted policies, targeted legislation, such as our Family Protection Act of 2014, which specifically addresses domestic violence for the security of our vulnerable groups of women, children, and even men. Moreover, having women in law brings different perspectives to addressing issues in our society, to drafting our laws, and to the enforcement of these laws. In addition, the approach that we take to educate and to help our clients to utilize these laws depends on our women in law. As a legislative drafting counsel at the Attorney General's chambers, this has been my experience exactly. When there are more women present, there are more diverse and inclusive perspectives brought to discussions which influence the results for the good of more people in society. Furthermore, women are naturally great communicators with a lot of empathy, patience, perseverance, and we're great team players. These soft skills, coupled with our legal training, offers a great combination that is very effective for conflict resolution, negotiation, and working with marginalized groups in society to bring forth resolutions that are more inclusive, that are more equitable, and that are responsive to the needs of our marginalized groups, which includes those with special needs or those who are differently abled. In addition to this, we take into account the social, cultural, political, environment, and economical aspects of our society when we make these resolutions. Lastly, the work of women in law cuts cuts across many different sectors. When women in law advocate for the labor market, for example, they are supporting the economic development of our country. When they shape inclusive policies, influence legislation that always considers human rights, and work towards gender equality in governance, it pushes for political change and development. And when women in law promote fairness, justice, equality, and community well-being, they strengthen the fabric and the bonds in our communities. Their collective contributions ensures that our legal systems are equitable, inclusive, and responsive to individual needs, supporting sustainable development across all areas. In conclusion, there are various ways that women in law make their contributions, and I urge that we throw our support behind these women and the work that they are doing. Standing here, I hope I have inspired a new generation to take up the call to join the legal fraternity. We women in law stand behind you as you join us, as we welcome you and guide you to work towards safer, secure, and more sustainable communities. Thank you very much.
Question, Norma. You are working in the legal fraternity, and you are a woman working there. How do you see yourself contributing towards an orderly and a sustainable society in our country, especially coming from women's point of view?
Thank you, Robert, for that question. I am a senior legislative drafting counsel at the Attorney General's Chambers. It is my duty, my mandate, to draft laws that are inclusive of everybody's rights, responsibilities, and needs in our society. Each law that we draft considers the whole aspect, cultural, political, economical, well-being, everything. As a drafting counsel, it is my contribution towards creating sustainable development through the laws, the legislation that we draft. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you, Miss Tourism. Name is Sharon, and my question is, as Miss Tourism, how would you use your platform to promote tourism in the Solomon Islands? Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, for that question. That is a very loaded question as well. I will acknowledge that. As Miss Tourism, we have a large online presence, but not just an online presence, it comes with a huge sense of responsibility. As Miss Tourism, I am proudly sponsored by 7 groups of sponsors. Therefore, it is important that I consider the values that they have in whatever promotions that I do online. Currently, we operate under the brand Solomon Is to bring all of our tourism operators, all of the tourism stakeholders under one brand in order to promote them collectively to create a foundation in which each of these brands can operate individually and successfully. As Miss Tourism, I have been using my platform online on social media to showcase our destinations, our cultures through the attires I wear to each event, and to promote our local operators, our local artists, and our local cultural groups to the broader community internationally. Thank you very much for your question.